first argument like? Do y'all remember your first argument with your spouse?
Yeah, I mean, how much could you say if technically she wasn't my girlfriend?
You were the one that was dead wrong.
He ain't taking the whole L.
I ain't gonna take the whole L on that one. I ain't gonna take the whole L on that one.
I know we had an argument right before we went down the aisle, like maybe like 2-3 weeks before we went down the aisle. And it was one of those things like, look, listen, we could call up this wedding. It was one of those arguments.
So it was you.
No.
Take the L, full L.
Why does everybody say that?
They do.
Talk about spirituality. We're gonna make sure
that all these years we never held on to an argument for more than 24 hours.
We definitely try to resolve it right away. Sometimes though we do. I wouldn't say we hold on to the argument. We might hold on to the subject of the argument.
Knowing that you find balance within something that you guys obviously have a disagreement about says a lot about you two spiritually. And being that this is a spiritual show, you are in a relationship with somebody and you can have arguments. Obviously, people disagree, but the nature of the argument really is what's telling you the life lesson that you have with your partner.
I'm a person that I'm very sarcastic. I'm very witty. I'm very snarky when I'm arguing. In turn, I've noticed that my spouse was doing the same to me.
And you didn't like it.
And I hated it. Yeah, don't try to outsmart me. So I felt like once she swung that sword, it was like I had to drop that guard down. And now let's just argue and let's just talk straight up instead of
so that
you want to hit people with garbage.
Go ahead, shoot me in my pinky toe. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm definitely a big fan of your show. Definitely a big fan. Just wanted to salute y'all.
Talking about your spouse, you are married. You're newly married. You're newlywed.
Very newly married. It's been 10 months.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations to you and your beautiful wife. Yeah. Even though I didn't get my invite, it's okay. I still forgive you. There's no love lost.
I didn't get an invite. I just was there. Like, what happened? It just happened out of nowhere. But nah, she's a blessing. So speaking of spirituality and chemistry and union and all that other stuff, she's a blessing. I can't complain with that at all.
Yeah, she's a sweet guy.
Yes, she is.
Energy. I think I said to you one day, you must know God loves you because he gave her to you. Oh,
yep. And it's, you know what, Keish? It's not about, yes, she's the right woman. And yes, she's dope. She's perfect for me. The timing was perfect as well.
Mm-hmm.
And had I met her 10 years ago, it probably wouldn't have manifested into what we are now.
Yes.
I just wasn't where I am now. Spiritually, I wasn't right. Emotionally, I wouldn't have been connected to her. Financially, I wasn't as good as I am now. So I just think timing also played a good part in it. I mean, we can get deep into that, but let's talk tonight. I'm here. Let's talk.
No, but it's important to bring forward the fact that you recognize that you and her were meant to be. Sure. Because that's going to be essential to the things that we bring up a little bit later on in this conversation. But knowing that you guys have your good times, you also have bad times in relationships, right? Well, first of all, how was your first argument? What was the first argument like? Do y'all remember your first argument with your spouse?
I do.
Oh, talk about it.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about it. We weren't official. We were talking. We were in the dating stages.
Okay.
And she had come to one of my parties. For those who don't know, or like Janine said at the beginning, I'm a DJ. She had come to one of my parties. Then when it was time to exit, she's a beautiful woman. Men talk to her all the time. So a man had approached her. I guess she didn't know that I was watching her. And it looked like she was giving him her number. She didn't. She gave him her Instagram. But nonetheless, the conversation was right in front of my face, even though she didn't know I was watching. So I checked her on it. Like, if me and you rocking, don't do that, and especially don't do that right in front of my face. So
Yeah.
we argued about it. Then it got deeper. That was the first time finding out that a lot of times women don't reject men out of fear. Um, so that was a conversation that I had to be enlightened and educated about that as well. So she more so did it out of, not rejecting him out of fear, but she didn't give him his number or anything. She gave him his Instagram. But we definitely argued over it. It was a quick
Wow.
argument. I couldn't really say anything either because I didn't do what I was supposed to do to make sure she was mine. So
Oh, okay. That's it. That's an interesting little
Yeah.
side note there. Okay. So you had a little bit of awareness in the end of the conversation.
yeah, I mean, how much
Okay.
can I say if technically she wasn't my girlfriend? So
So
we
you
were.
were you were the one that was dead wrong.
He
Yeah,
like he ain't taking the whole L.
I ain't gonna take the whole L on that one. Mm-mm. I ain't gonna take the whole L on that one. I still wouldn't have done that if the roles were reversed.
Gotcha. And Keisha, what about you? I know y'all been married for so long. How do you even remember the first argument? You tell me so many stories, but
I don't. I really don't. I know we had an argument right before we went down the aisle, like maybe like 2-3 weeks before we went down the aisle, and it was one of those things like, listen, we could call off this wedding. It was one of the, it was one of those arguments.
Keisha, were you a bridezilla?
Actually, I wasn't.
Hmm.
I wasn't. It had nothing to do with the wedding. It was just something internal in the house that
Okay.
maybe one of us didn't do or the other one did do. I don't know what it was, but it was something going on. And plus, my hormones was raging. So, yeah.
So it was you.
Huh? No, no, no.
Take the L, full L,
He said,
full L.
oh my gosh.
and then this stage of the game, I guess you guys could say that y'all have evolved when it comes to knowing how to deal with your partner. So let me be clear. In the midst of arguments, you have evolved to understand what to say and what not to say, what that thing that's going to trigger them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have not evolved to the pinnacle, but I have evolved since that first argument. Sure.
Let me ask you, Josh. So, one of the good things about Troy and I is that all these years, we never held on to an argument for more than 24 hours.
Mhm.
Um, where we're walking in the house and not speaking. And even if we had an argument, we still would say goodbye because our thing was, God forbid, that's the day one of us leave the house and then they never come back home because of an accident. So
Okay.
that was always our fear. So that's why we never, even if we were mad at each other, we wouldn't go without talking to each other in the house. And I see a lot of couples do that. They could walk in the house with each other and not speak. I remember one of our close friends, unfortunately she's not here and you both know her. She said there was times where her and her husband would talk for weeks. They would
That's,
live in the same house. She would cook dinner and everything, bring him his dinner, and would not speak. So
that's cool.
my question to you is, when you guys argue, like how long do you hold on to that, or you try to resolve it right away?
We definitely try to resolve it right away. Sometimes though I wouldn't say we hold on to the argument. We might hold on to the subject of the argument.
Okay.
Whereas, um, it's not buried. It's not fully addressed. It's not like, the argument might have been addressed, but the topic might still linger. Something
Okay.
like that we might hold on to. It's never extreme where we're not talking or anything like that. It's just, hey, remember, we was talking about such and such. I still feel a way about this. I know
Mm.
Yeah.
the other night, but I'm still harboring some feelings about this. Thankfully, on the second and third time around, it doesn't escalate like it did the first time.
Okay.
At that point, might have, maybe cooler heads prevailed. The smoke is clear, so now we can have a basic discussion about it. But the argument part is typically never past the first night.
Okay. Okay. Good.
See,
How
I
do you?
love that.
Yeah.
I really love that about you guys because knowing that you can find a way to find balance within something that you guys obviously have a disagreement about says a lot about you two spiritually. And being that this is a spiritual show, one thing that I want the audience to understand, when you are in a relationship with somebody, and you can have arguments, obviously, people disagree. You can have arguments, but the nature of the argument really is what's telling you the life lesson that you have with your partner. Sure. Right? And then when you're able to know how to filter through it, not be triggered by it, is also teaching your soul different things along the way. How can I stay calm? How can I stay balanced? How can I not be triggered, and bringing things into it that may stem from my childhood? So I like the fact that you guys know how to have decent conversations, even though they may come up in a different context later on, is in a different form later on. Just understand that bringing it up later on really is just you guys having to understand the life lessons that you two had to come together and figure out.
Well, the thing is, cutting the fat. That was the biggest thing in our arguments. I spoke to Keisha about this before. We were just fighting about fighting. Like we were just, like, it became, the fight is now about the cursing or getting loud or hitting the belt. And you doing all this fighting. It's like, well, why are you cursing at me? Well, why are you talking to me like that? Why are you screaming? Why'd you turn your back on me? Why'd you walk out the room? You fighting about everything else except for the topic.
Yeah.
See, you know what I mean? So once you cut out the fat and start realizing we just fighting about some bullshit, right? Wait, can I curse?
Yeah.
We just
Why
fighting.
does everybody say that?
They do.
Talk about spirituality. We gonna make sure. But yeah, when you just fighting about everything but the actual topic, then it's when things escalate to a point when it's harder to recover from. So once we did that, it was a lot easier to actually resolve a fight.
And one of our recent episodes we did, we talked about people liking to hold on to anger. People like being mad. And so going back to what Janine was saying about, childhood trauma or childhood traits, there are people that like to argue, they like to walk around and not talk to you for days and weeks. It's just in them. And like you said, cutting out the fat. Sometimes they want the fat. They need the fat. And see, people need to check themselves, and they don't even realize what they're doing. They're thinking that they're holding on to the principles of what the argument was about, not realizing that character defects is affecting the relationship and affecting the topic at hand. So no one is even resolving the topic. They're just harboring all of this anger.
I'm glad you brought that up, and because I wanted to ask you, is there something that you feel that you have recognized about yourself in having these arguments that you knew were about nothing? What's that one thing that you would say that you recognize about yourself?
I'm a person that I'm very sarcastic. I'm very witty. I'm very I can almost be snarky when I'm arguing.
Yeah.
So in turn, I've noticed that my spouse was doing the same to me.
And you didn't like it.
And I hated it. Because what you can't
look at that. The mirror.
Don't try to outsmart me. So I felt like once she swung that sword, it was like I had to drop that guard down. And now let's just argue and let's just talk straight up instead of me.
Oh, so that's what it hit people with garbage
cans. Go ahead, shoot me in my pinky toe. Yeah, that's what it was. Wow. It was definitely meeting my match.
That's incredible. Keish, what about you?
Well, when I first got married, I was 21, I think, or I had just turned 22. I had just turned 22 when I got married. So I was still very immature. Like, I look back and I'm like, I was a baby when I got married.
Yeah.
So what happened with me was I went from living in my mother's house into living in the house of my husband. And so I used to have a lot of tantrums. And mind you, I was not the type of person to have a tantrum. I couldn't have tantrums with my mother. Like, she was not having that. So I think I brought that into my relationship, and then people would tell my spouse that Keisha wasn't like that before she met you, but it was embedded in my soul. Like, I literally was like, you know, you know how you see those scenes in a movie where they take their hand and swipe everything off the dresser, including the TV.
Yeah, I've known you to throw a dish or two.
But one time I tore up a whole kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now you got to buy new dishes, so that's the problem.
So that's why I do paper plates now.
Let me ask you. So let's go back to real quick about this not harboring emotions past an argument, or not harboring anger past an argument. That's, to me, that's what I'm like striving to get to.
Okay.
Would you say that's intentional in your relationship, or is that just where you are in life? And if so, did you instill that in Troy?
So what happened was I started this thing called the Positive Campaign, where we started, if one of us was talking negative to the other person, the other person would say, stop, be positive, because it was starting to affect just regular conversation. We could be talking about cereal, and the conversation would turn into something totally different.
Want to learn more about how to die and never come back to this bitch? Check out our exclusive content on our Soul Circle on Patreon.